Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Handsome German, the only show on the internet. This time with a good microphone. Today, instead of a game, I'll be reviewing Space Monkey Report number 3. For those unaware, the SMRs were a short-lived series of streams bringing us new information about Beyond Good and Evil 2. I already did reaction videos for the first 2 Space Monkey reports, so I'm doing the third one now. Be sure to check out my Beyond Good and Evil playlist for those videos and more stuff on Beyond Good and Evil. The stream, hosted by Charlotte, starts off with Guillaume, Gabrielle, and Emile recounting their experiences attending the conventions E3 and China Joy. There's no new information here, but I do get the impression that their excitement to share the demo with fans is genuine, which is nice to see. Next up is a montage from the recording sessions where the lines we've all heard a million times came to life. The performances are all around excellent, with the return of David Gassman as Paige in particular being a real treat. Did you know he also voiced Rayman in a bunch of games, including the Rayman DLC in Mario + Rabbids 2? I had no idea. Next up, some bad news. Beyond Good and Evil Fest has been delayed to 2019. That's a shame, of course, but leaves us with something to look forward to. Guillaume announces that they'll be showing off the demo with hit record assets included during the next stream, so make sure you subscribe to the channel to catch that in recap number 4. We get some delicious in-game footage, albeit without any sound. First, we're shown Ganesha City at peace with colorful hover cars and diva-light decorations around buildings. We get a quick glimpse at a dark temple, very atmospheric. We see a monkey hybrid entering a fighter-sized ship and probably Shani flying around with her jetpack, assaulting what looks like the most gormless, most placeholder-ass law enforcement trio ever caught on film. Finally, they show a brief snippet of ship combat before blasting off into space. This does prove that there has at least been a playable sandbox to move around in for the last 4 years now, with some very basic enemy reactivity, though we don't see them even try to attack. It doesn't look half bad either, artistically. Imagine how wild we would go if they shared another couple of seconds of muted gameplay. We'd be all over it. Do it, Ubisoft. Just do it. To cool off a little after that, they transition over to the hit record crew. I checked out a lot of the music and art, and there is so much great stuff there. I especially love how international the project became right away. When's the last time you heard Tagalog get a shout out like that? So yeah, awesome job, community, genuinely. Guillaume is replaced by audio director Alexandre Calotti to discuss the game's music. They're planning on having the diegetic or in-universe soundscape blend together with the soundtrack, which is an awesome idea. If you find that hard to picture, check out Rayman Legends' music levels, where the characters' slap sounds become the percussion of the song. Most likely Beyond Good and Evil 2 won't feature this kind of symbiosis to that extreme, but if done well, this will add a lot to the game's atmosphere. They also talk about how fitting it is for a game about diverse ragtag bands of pirates to have incredible diversity in the genres of music present, and I honestly couldn't agree more. Well, I do have some issues with the logic behind how all these people originating from the same cloning machines have such drastically different cultural influences and accents. From an aesthetic point of view, it's worth suspending your disbelief for. They go into detail about the song 40 Lashes, which in universe was derived from a song slaves would sing while forced to work. It's pretty disturbing to learn how many genres of music originated from enslaved people looking for ways to keep their spirits up in the face of extreme cruelty from their enslavers. This is another way the real world influenced the story of Beyond Good and Evil 2. Thousands of real world pirates were escaped slaves, and while many still faced racial discrimination to some extent, others were lucky enough to be treated as equals on board their ship. It's the latter crews that are romanticized in Beyond Good and Evil 2 as the ideals of freedom and equality. We also get a brief listen to Cheeky Little Monkeys, though there isn't as much to say about it. Pretty catchy though, and you can find a full version of it on Princess Lettuce's YouTube channel. If it's not linked in the description, please tell me to put it there in the comments below. Next up, a video about the original soundtrack with Christophe Aral, who wants to grab you by the ears, which is something the subtitles did not disclose. He talks about the many diverse Mediterranean influences that went into Beyond Good and Evil 1, and if you're here watching this video, this shouldn't be a surprise to you. He also talks about how much emotion the performers managed to infuse the music with, which is something a machine could never do, and I wholeheartedly agree. Christoph's work is, of course, fantastic, so having him back on board is as important as Michel Ancel leading the project. Weird Freudian slip there. After the video, we are joined by Michel Ancel to talk about how important characters are, which is like true, but also duh. We're also shown a quick montage of an artist working on Takini with no real insight on the process. This whole segment is kind of weak, to be honest. Discussing how characters' facial expressions convey emotions to make them feel real, it's just very surface level stuff. I don't know, maybe you found it interesting. They also share some info on cosplay guides for different characters, which is fun for those who like that sort of thing. It will never stop bothering me that they talk about these clothes as if they were from Earth, as if Scottish DNA made you want to wear plaid, but I already complained about that. They briefly talk about having asked the community what the ship's AI should be called, and unsurprisingly people went with names like Prima, in reference to it being a prequel to Segundo from the first game. They say they're going to keep us updated with short videos regularly, but that sadly never happened. I'm hoping that doesn't mean anything and work continues on the game. Let's quickfire some community questions. Yes, you'll be able to steal any vehicles you see and you'll be able to make use of their unique properties. The example given is infiltrating an area by driving a transportation vehicle that blends in with the others. They advise the community to come up with their own recipe for space chili. So it looks like you won't be able to play as the characters we've seen in the trailers, but the answer to this one is kinda long and non-committal. The devs want to focus on you creating your own legend, even if that means your character is cosplaying as an existing character. Probably for the best, honestly. Having a blank slate and a do-what-you-want open world is going to create far less dissonance than what games like GTA do. They confirmed that people whose hit record contributions were used will be credited. Not much to say except that that's good. They're hoping that they can somehow reference Double H's origin. That would simultaneously be kinda cool and pretty forced. Mixed feelings about this one. Finally, Crimping the Invisible Man Madness asks what the most enjoyable part of development has been so far. Michel talks about the first time all the different technical systems came together, especially how seamlessly you can move from hanging out in a bar to exploring space. Similarly, Gabrielle brings up fans' reactions to said seamlessness. Emil's favorite part was delving deeper into the lore of Beyond Good and Evil, really explaining where characters and elements of the world building like hybrids came from. Unsurprisingly, he also enjoyed getting feedback from fans, seeing as how at the time it was almost entirely positive. And that's the end of that. Overall, not a bad showing at all. I'll make a video on Space Monkey Report number 4 soonish, so stay tuned for that. Until then, what did you think of the stream? Let me know in the comments or on the Beyond Good and Evil Discord server. And if you found this video informative, entertaining, or good to fall asleep to, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more. Goodbye.